For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
716-2026, and Amanda King will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. Well, guess who is no longer acting in his position? The Governor General, who has been acting from November the 11th of 2021, has finally been appointed in that position. And that individual is Errol Charles. And according to the St. Lucia Gazette, it is notified for general information that His Majesty the King has been pleased to appoint Mr. Cyril Charles as Governor General of St. Lucia, pursuant to Section 19 of the Constitution of St. Lucia, Cap 1.01, and that is with effect from November the 1st of 2024. And signed there by the Cabinet Secretary, Auguste de Gazon. So, the Governor General, finally, he has been appointed to serve in the position of Governor General. He is the head of state, and he has been acting from November the 11th of 2021, and his position, new position, Governor General, taking effect from November the 1st of 2024. So congratulations to Governor General Errol Charles. What else is happening and is worthy of focusing on? Today is Nobel Laureate Day, and the islands, of course, has two Nobel laureates, Sir Arthur Lewis and Sir Derek Walcott. And the question of the day deals with our Nobel laureates. What would St. Lucia's two Nobel laureates think of the island's polytricksters? What would St. Lucia's two Nobel laureates think of the island's polytricksters? So we have politicians and then we have polytricksters. Those are the people who use their position to delude the masses and also to divide the masses for their own benefits. And, kind of Machiavellian approach that they adopt. They say one thing, but they practice something totally different. They try to convince you through trickery. And against the background of us always boasting, and rightly so, but as us having two Nobel laureates, and we're proud, especially when we travel overseas and we say we are from St. Lucia, automatically people who know of Sir Derek Walcott and Sir Arthur Lewis, they make the correlation between you as a St. Lucian and those two esteemed gentlemen. So they stand out. They certainly have made their mark, particularly on the world stage as St. Lucians. And what do you think a lot of those polytricksters are doing to our reputation as a country? You watch the behavior of some of our politicians, you listen to them, and you ask yourself, is this really coming from the mouths of individuals who are St. Lucians, who have something in common with Derek Walcott and Arthur Lewis in that they are nationals of the same country? I don't know if you'll concur. But over the last few decades, we have regressed as opposed to recording the kind of success that one would attribute to a country which has produced the most Nobel laureates per capita. And in various spheres, various spheres we have regressed. We have not shown the kind of success that is commensurate with the kind of reputation that we have enjoyed, that has been brought to our country primarily because of those two individuals over several decades now, and of late because of Julian Alfred. We of late do not have much to show by way of success, and that is very unfortunate compared to a number of other Caribbean countries, your likes of Antigua and Dominica and Barbados. They are making tremendous strides. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they have some things, to show for their existence. Some things that they have achieved in particular over the last few years. I'm talking about at least over the last decade. If it weren't for Julian Alfred and exploits being made by other athletes, the likes of Darren Sammy as captain of the West Indies cricket team, winning 2 T20 World Cups, etc. What else do you think we have to show for our existence? And so on this Nobel Laureate Day today, let's continue to bask in the achievement of those two great men, those two great sons of the soil, Sir Arthur Lewis and Sir Derek Walcott. Yesterday we marked the commencement of the 29th season of Newsmaker Live. That's a long time. And my guest on the broadcast on DBS television was former National Security Minister and former Home Affairs Minister and also former Deputy Police Commissioner, Mr. Herman Gill Francis. And he said something that I'm sure at first glance did not register with many of my viewers, with the audience. When he said that a lot of the homicides that we are recording in St. Lucia are linked to licensed firearms. Now, he did not produce or provide any evidence. But it's worth considering whether that is true and what can or should be done about this. Because what we have been doing for years now is just glibly reporting that there's been another homicide, another shooting, and then we assume that is through the use of illegal firearms. And maybe Mr. Herman Gil Francis can share whatever information he has at his disposal, because he was once the island's national security minister, with his successor, with the island's acting police commissioner, with the Home Affairs minister, and with the minister with responsibility for crime prevention. Because unfortunately, in this country of ours, there's a tendency for us to be emotional and not to rely on science, technology, based on, and also rely on evidence. It is primarily on hearsay, and we make all kind of assumptions. And against that background, and as a result, we are not making the kind of success and strides that we should be enjoying when it comes to dealing with perennial problems in our country. And so let us listen to Mr. Herman Gil Francis. As he says, most of the homicides that we have been recording, gun-related, are basically committed through the use of licensed firearms. A hell of a statement.
Most of the homicides, in fact, we can almost say all are gun-related. You can ask the ballistic, the forensic lab. Most of the homicides, in fact, we can almost say all are gun-related. You can ask the ballistic, the forensic lab. There is an area there for testing of firearms. And one of the plans, we cleared it out, we decided to build it and so on, was to get a ballistic expert to come here and train some of the police officers and to take every legal firearm in St. Lucia and get the fingerprint of that weapon. Okay, because I'm sure that a lot of the homicides that are being committed here are by legal weapons. You have security guards. I mean, when I look, you see security guards, I don't know who training them, who not training them, but the fellows are armed with firearms. We don't even know if somebody take the firearm from them. We do not know. We do not know. So we have to get every firearm that's licensed in this country, you got to get a fingerprint of it. If we do that, when we go to the scene of a crime and we get a spent shell or the lead and so on, we might be able to identify these sort of things.
The island's former National Security Minister, former Deputy Police Commissioner, Mr. Herman Gil Francis, and he don't say most, but he says a lot of the homicides that are occurring here involve the use of licensed firearms. We need to get to the bottom of this particular matter so that we can arrest that problem that continues to plague us in this country. If we have the science, if we have the technology, let us utilize it. Let's take a call right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And in just a moment, Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. Somebody says that, Tim, how can most be from licensed firearms? I find that really hard to believe. Oh, well, he said a lot, not most. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message that we can go through. Somebody says that, Tim, what about following Great UK Employment Program and the St. Lucian and Canadian Agricultural Seasonal Program asking for a friend? We hope that somebody from the Ministry of Agriculture or the Labour Department will be able to furnish us with some information. Another thing, somebody says that, Tim, we can't think of anything And there's some more. Let's go through some more comments. Just comments which we would have had from yesterday, which we were not able to go through. Somebody says there via WhatsApp. Yes, became aware of this as a chamber meeting late last year. In 2 counts, the Prime Minister has not been very transparent about the H&L. An area we may need to focus on for 2025 is trade and the impending impacts it will have on small islands such as St. Lucia. There is a lot in the pipeline that can seriously affect our ability to get goods and the costs associated with shipping to the region. This is a brewing issue that needs to be delved into. We have a call in the line. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Yeah, Tim, how you doing?
Hi. Good afternoon to you, Brother Harris. Happy New Year to you, sir.
Yeah, to you and all the solutions all over the world. Yeah, Tim, I'm not going to call on to next month because of personal.
But you're there anyway. Go ahead with your contribution.
Let me tell you, I just want to comment on what I see happening there this morning. I went to the Beaufort Wharf. Somebody alarmed me to that. And then I saw all type of old equipment, vehicles, and so on. And I understood that the authority in Castries just hire a badge and just come and dump everything at the port in Beaufort. Man, for heaven's sake, what we take Beaufort for? A dumping site? I don't know what Beaufort is paying for or what. We stop all progress in Beaufort, airport, the wharf, everything, and we take dump rubbish and come and dump it in Beaufort. Where's the health people that always talking? These things they come and dump in Beaufort. Who knows the amount of rats that's in that? They're talking about mosquitoes, dengue, and everything. When you take all this garbage and come and dump it at the wharf in Beaufort, what is authority of thinking of, my good God? Man, I don't know. This country is heading for disaster. It's already in disaster and it's getting worse. Next week, or God willing, 2 weeks' time, I'm going to comment about things I hear going on that one have a lot of power in this country and so on. We've been friends with all country. I have to comment on a lot of things. That CIP thing, that Trump immigration thing. And let me just say one thing about Trump. Trump have things I don't like, but a lot of things I like. He does, I like. Tim, your border is one of the most important things of your country. You cannot have everybody. It's a pity innocent people are passing in it. But you cannot have a country and the borders are not protected. You have all sorts of criminals going into the United States through the border that is wide open. It's just like St. Lucia. A lot of these things coming into St. Lucia, these weapons and so on, is coming from our borders. And some politician was prepared to do something about our borders, and all these things just went down the drain. Look at what's happening. Politicians, man, God have mercy on politicians. Trump came, Biden live in office. He pardoned so many criminals, people, rapists, and all these things. These people don't think about justice, about these people that have gone through this. Then Trump come in, he pardoned all these people of January 6th, which I think they were guilty of a lot of criminal acts. In St. Lucia, we come and do the same thing. But all what we can say, oh, crime in Trinidad, crime in Barbados. But we never say, oh, that country is doing so good. Let me try and take a piece for it. Before, I'm going to stop it, Tim, but let me just say, we have a voice saying, I'm not this, I'm not that. If you're in charge of a cricket team and the wicket-keeper is not doing his job, it's your responsibility to take action against the wicket-keeper. Either change him or do something. And Rick Wren said something yesterday, I was listening. People talk about people have power. People have no power. We give them the power. And I'm going to elaborate on that in the coming weeks. God's willing. God bless you all and take it in.
You too, Brother Harris. Thank you so much for calling. WhatsApp message reads, bought brown sugar at the store, regretted, but then did not have much of a choice at the time. The sugar is dark in color and dirty. Is Consumer Affairs Department monitoring this? Also, why are we having such a long shortage of rice? And we have a call via WhatsApp as we say hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Welcome back, Tim.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you're missing. I'm here today I heard Rick talking about sheep on Monday. I'm here to defend sheep.
Mm-hmm.
I want Rick to know that the sheep I have witnessed recently, a couple of years back, right by the Star newspaper, were trying, a flock of sheep were trying to cross the road from Blue Waters towards Rick's side of the newspaper. Mm-hmm. And the traffic was up and down, and I was going north. And when I saw them trying to cross, I stopped. And the matriarch started to cross, and he looked up from the north, and he realized the traffic was moving. It stopped and backed away. And then backed away and waited, and that flock of sheep didn't cross the road until the traffic was safe. I stood there and in amazement and witnessed that. So, Rick, sheep are more intelligent in this country than most of our people. Okay. We're talking about our Nobel Laureates and who we are and where we've come from. Tim, I was at the docks this morning, and that place is in a mess. There are people who receive barrels for Christmas and to date, and maybe today, some of them will receive the barrels. Right? Why do we have our country, and you said it yourself, our country is going backwards because a country is supposed to grow and the government has to prepare itself for growth and not for retardation, right? When the government is supposed to monitor every year the imports of goods coming into the country and should know it needs better spacing for, let's say, less than container loads cargo, where you have to be stuff and put in a warehouse. Cargo you have to warehouse. And I had my cargo came in on the 31st of December, and I just got it today. I'm a small business. What do you think, where you expect small business to get with this type of operations and management at the port? And the government has not done a thing really. They might come out and say, yeah, we tried to build a shed at the old banana shed and stuff like that. But that is, reactionary. That's not what was supposed to happen. Every year, the government, whichever government is supposed to take note and realize the country is growing and it is not reducing, and we should prepare this country for the things that we need so the people of this country can progress and we could service our people adequately. And it's not just the health department, it's everything, team. We are stranded. It's all politicians talking every day, but not really anything is happening. And I feel bad for those of us who are not guilty of what is happening today, who didn't partake and cause it to happen, but Peter pays for Paul. Thank you, Tim. Have a great day.
You too, caller. Thank you so much for calling. I think it's because we are short-sighted that there would have been trends to indicate that certain adjustments should have been made at the Castries port so that people can, within a reasonable time frame, a reasonable period, clear their barrels, clear their containers from that particular facility. What you have right now is a situation where the problem has been allowed to worsen. And all of a sudden, we are looking for solutions, but those solutions will not come overnight. You have a number of the truckers that they have to park outside of the Castries port and creating a backlog and blocking vehicular traffic. And it's just mayhem in that particular area. But here's hoping that the authorities and the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority, those who are responsible, will attend to that issue. Let's see if we have some of the comments in the chat room. As we say, good afternoon to you, Amanda.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, NewsSpinners. In the chat room, someone says elections is coming soon. They will rush everything now. Another comment reads, I thought we were cutting ties from the whites. Little black boy has changed his mind. Someone says, finally, the movie has ended. The actor was appointed. Let's see how long the movie with the RSLPF continues. We have had commissioners acting over and over. Mr. PM, we already know who you want to appoint as Commissioner of Police, so just do it. Another comment reads, we only mention our laureates when convenient. We do not apply any of Sir Lewis's teachings to our society. Someone says, if most of the homicides were done by the people with licensed firearms, then it should be easy to tell who are the perpetrators.
But I don't think what Mr. Herman Gil Francis is saying is that people with licensed firearms are the ones who are getting involved in those criminal acts. It is a case where, for example, he is suggesting or insinuating there are instances where maybe a lot of those guns are stolen from individuals who have a license to carry them, and then those firearms are being used to commit those crimes. But let me stress, he did not provide any evidence. Any more comments?
Another comment reads, license firearms seriously, so you mean that someone is licensing firearms and giving it to those little boys who can't even spell their names to commit crimes? We are really backwards. No wonder criminals get away with their actions. Another comment reads, in 2025, in such a small country, there should be a database with everyone's fingerprints. Another comment reads, the St. Lucia finish. Someone says, call a great observation, but what do you expect when sheep goats has taken over the St. Jude's Hospital? Another comment, with the crime situation, can citizens still not own pepper spray? And I think that's it, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. More updates coming up in just a moment. WhatsApp message, somebody says, Tim, you didn't say Richard was a leader. You said he was the most powerful. And we go along to some more of your messages. Somebody says there, this woman just described tropical Trump, not RF. And that is the contributions from yesterday's program. Another one says, Tim, no hard feelings. I want a United Workers Party supporter or the SLP supporter. Give me a proper definition of victimization. And another WhatsApp message. So when will the health and security tax will remain and duty concessions for hybrid vehicles will be removed? November 2025. How are you supposed manage in the name of too many vehicles? And there are also too many buses and taxi vehicles. Another comment from yesterday. This lady who spoke about Richard did a great speech. Well done. Richard should put his head in a sack right now and resign. And there's some more comments from yesterday. On behalf of Malcolm's family, we would like to thank everyone for their kind condolences, as he would end every conversation, cool runnings. Remember, we reported yesterday that well-known St. Lucian musician Malcolm Locks McGarren passed away over in the UK. We have another WhatsApp message. Let me go through it. It reads there, the caller regarding ethics is that he used the wrong word when discussing a man like Richard Frederick, because the word ethics is not upheld by Richard in the first place. Is it ethical for a government minister to have a talk show where he's clearly abusing his ministerial position and conflicting his role as a talk show host and his role as a minister? Is it ethical for him to be vilifying and intimidating citizens or barking orders and directives on television to all and sundry in high office, calling out names without giving the accused persons an opportunity to respond? It continues, if they have no means to defend themselves, then what is wrong if they use social media to clear their names? Will the accused on a public platform? Should a man be denied clearing his own name for the sake of Frederick, who is clearly bent on destroying anyone whom he deems to be a political opponent? Someone's good name is worth fighting for, caller, and it's very personal, not professional only, and how they do so is not your call to dictate, because you never know how far the damage can impact the person's life. You don't, because they will not tell you, but remember, our audience now in the technological era is the whole world. So Jan Gustav and Officer Taliam have the whole world to answer to now. They have the internet to consider, so your Outlook caller is clearly very biased and unfair to the officers. Would you have someone tarnish your name and play dead in the name of ethics? Really? If you punch me in church and I punch you back in church, am I wrong to defend myself in church when my attacker had no reservations about being violent in the church? If it is unethical for the officers, it is even more unethical for the minister, who should be the example. It cannot be acceptable behavior for Arif and unacceptable for Officer Gustav or Officer Talium. As far as I'm concerned, the Commissioner of Police has just endorsed and enforced political bullying, and clearly is allowed very little autonomy to use his own good judgment. What he does is predetermined and dictated by the cabinet, to whom he is beholden, and many in the force will be victimized one by one. Just watch. There is more stupidity to come. 452-2979, 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. We have a call on the landline. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Hi, good afternoon, Timothy.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
I wanted to talk about two things today. I wanted to talk about the Nobel Laureate Day today, but I think I will focus on the other aspect. And I'm a little bit emotional about it because it's happening right now as we speak, and it's so sad because I have aging parents and they're getting on, and as your parents get older, they need more medical attention. There's a greater need for the hospitals and stuff, and when you hear the things that's happening at the hospital, when you observe the quality of healthcare we have in St. Lucia, when you see for yourself and you hear people crying and they're calling you and they're crying and they're asking you for help and you're helpless to help them, it really is something. But there's this lady, not too old, not too young, but I resonate with her because I think she's around my age group, right? And for 8 days, Timothy, this patient she already has a compromised immune system, and she's been left to languish at the hospital for 8 days in substandard conditions. And I'm talking about St. Jude Hospital. She's waiting for a blood transfusion. The call for blood went out, as it always does, because for some reason in St. Lucia we never have enough blood in the blood bank.
Hello, caller? We have lost the caller. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Once again, 716-2026. And let's see if we can take a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. T.
Yes, caller. Good afternoon to you.
And how are you, sir?
I'm okay. How about you?
I used to be a long-time caller of yours, but it's a long time I have not called the program.
Thanks for calling today.
There's one of the guys who talked about J-Ford being a dumb ground for garbage. I support me say 100% for 100%. Because I'm seeing after maybe 25 years of leadership, because Kenny entered there in 97. So we call it 2007 to 2017.
About 28.
All right, almost 27. What forwardness have you seen Viewfort had? And we have to look at that and analyze it and put it in a very substantial situation there and look at it. What is the development? What is the way forward to think? What is the leader? Because I did not say he did not have a start. And after being a prime minister for 3 terms, I have not seen the push in Viewfort. I could give a little example. Right now we have a prime minister in the country, and if you look at his constituency, I mean, it's a built-in shame, And you look at, I don't need to mention names, the name and the page can say it for itself, right? But Viewfort have not gotten the real thrill from any of the leaders, but at least Labour Party have been there more than UWP. I must say that from inception. And Viewfort have not gotten that kind of push. Look at for example, Viewfort, for all of the millions that have been spent in St. Lucia or over on St. Jude, Viewfort did not deserve a decent marina. We're looking at like the backer there in Viewfort. Even though you could have shipped some of the people and put a nice marina at the front there, a theater, a nice mall, and at least economic activity will be coming in, like youngsters come in, they would have activity. But Viewfort have just been just like the fella maybe give the script. You just find like a pond where mosquitoes is coming and breed, but it have been stagnant and damp for over the years. Viewfort don't even have a conference center where you would say that at the end of the day you would get different segments where you could go and collect passports in Viewfort. You would go and collect any bill, everything is just downtown. And it's a fact, man. We look at it how we want to look at it. Viewfort have to get the attention. And I feel portions them have to put their head forward and they have to try change, man. You'll have to try change. There's no doubt about it. You'll have to try change, man. Because I'll just give you an example. You have a touring team, a touring guide, or you have a touring guide, or you team with the 10 lorries I bought. Who I'll give the brand new lorry when I buy it? It's you, of course. Not the same way like Viewfort. Viewfort have not gotten the touch. Look at the dock in Viewfort, where the fellas say they come and dump it's not high time that they fix the section of the dock. And all of the problem the fellas having with their barrels and things, you subdivide it. You take it from about Soufriere to reach Viewfort, or from Canaries to reach to Viewfort, and you have these barrels being things in these containers, and the people at the south will have theirs, and the people at the north will have theirs. I don't say it will at least alleviate the problem, but they might have a mental alleviation in help solving the problem. One of the biggest mistakes the guys also did with that same congestion of the traffic that we have due to these containers. The way Castries was designed for things, but when you find that over the years, container drivers and the increased flow and the population going up, you're going to find that. Why did the fellow sell that little piece of beach, that banana? They could not have extended there in such a way and then do such a thing there to at least extend on the ports there or whatever next, and at least they could have stored their containers. You know, the same way like when Chasney was there, they cannot say it was a lie. Chasney had a ready set after the Millennium Highway. He was looking at by haste to build something there at least. That was development for the country. You check. At the end of the day, man, we know where we have a problem with crime, health, and we have a problem with, even though the fellas give a little step, I'm not against the step team, to be very honest, because it deals with a lot of infrastructure, but step is not the only solution. There are bright minds and talents out there who have the mind and the capacity, but they just don't have the financial power, the equity to move forward. And you cannot find, you can go to any of the small sections or say that you're going to go and get a loan or something to even start off. So where we are, man, we're nowhere.
Okay, caller, thank you so much for your contribution. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. In just a bit, you'll be hearing an exchange of words or conversation between a spider and Nenen. Attention contractors and builders. M&C Home Depot and Sunbelt have limited time offers just for you. Lumber, 10% off all sizes. Cement slings, just $23 per bag, saving you 45 cents per bag or $18 per sling. KP6 panel doors, only $169 each, save $23.44 per door. Limited time only, don't miss out. Head to M&C Home Depot and Sunbelt today.
Get ready for the glitz and glamour of the Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant. Join the Fabulous Five: Danielle Allen, Miss Castries South; Cheyenne Smith, Miss Mikud South; Tyler St. Rose, Miss Babodo; Ari Asa Liwa, Miss Castries Central; and Mikhail Williams, Miss Mikud North. Who will be crowned Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant 2025 on Saturday, February 1st from 6 p.m. at the Medgar Evers College Founders Auditorium, 1650 Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn. Tickets $80 US, VIP $120 US, or call 631-275-0508. This event is sponsored by Power 97.9 FM, Four Roots Entertainment, and the Consulate General of St. Lucia, New York. A magical evening awaits. Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant 2025.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex Customer Service Office in Castries is now open for business, but we've moved. We're now located on Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci on the ground floor of the new Carillac building. We're open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Check out our online options first. But if you do need to come in to see us, we'll be pleased to serve you with new connections, bill queries, payments, and other service requests. Lucilex Sanssouci office, ground floor of the Carillac building. New location, same great service.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
For it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Ouais, messieurs, aujourd'hui, moi la KSP plein bon glow. Si t'en l'en pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. You need toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pompe set ici. Yo ka ranger pompe aussi qui besoin service. Brand pompe yo c'est Léo. Pompe ça c'est major. I bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moi actuellement. Glo ka fonte. Europa ni pompe glo Léo en pour les 9 juin et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452 0763.
Have you been referred by your doctor for an MRI? No need to travel overseas and endure long waits, travel expenses, and uncertainty. Right here in St. Lucia, La Clinique du Corps offers world-class full-body MRI scans with no limitations, using the most advanced MRI machine in the Caribbean to diagnose all types of illnesses with precision, accuracy, and crystal-clear head-to-toe images. Get your results within 24 hours, or you can choose our Express Results option to get it sooner. Your health is your wealth. Top quality 3D and 4D ultrasound services are also available. Don't settle for less when the best is right here at La Clinique du Corps in Cocoville, Rodney Bay, and Castries. For better healthcare, call us at 451-6559 to schedule your appointment today.
Need more days of savings? MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Super Saturday of Savings has just been extended to Sunday. Take advantage of amazing deals. This weekend, MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt are offering you amazing discounts on selected items. MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Super Saturday of Savings has been extended to Sunday. Don't miss out on the incredible discounts and deals. See in-store, Facebook, or www.mnchomedepot.com for more details. Terms and conditions may apply. Better value for better home.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Make this Christmas happen for everyone this year. With Republic Bank, the finest loans we have to spread the Christmas cheer. With Republic Bank, we can make your dreams come true. Like magic, it will appear. With Republic Bank, make this Christmas happen. With Republic Bank this year. Merry Christmas.
Public Bank, we're the one for you.
A request by the women's arm of the UWP to call in for an investigation into the allegations that were made against Mr. Philip.
All right, but that's exactly what Mr. Richard Frederick did.
No,
he
that's
was
not
calling on the commissioner of police.
No, that's not what he did. That's not what he did.
He was calling on the
That
commissioner
is not
of police.
what Richard did.
Well,
Richard
well,
instructed the commissioner.
He did what?
He instructed the commissioner on exactly what to do.
Mr. Spider, Nancy was on your show and the Europe was demanding and commanding Mrs. Pelius as a woman. Yes, I was listening to her.
She was requesting that an investigation be carried out. That's what was.
To take action against Mr. Philip because it was alleged that Mr. Philip did this to women and he did that to women. And she even said she's ashamed of Mrs. Pelius, of a woman, and even commanded the two women in Parliament that they are saying nothing, absolutely nothing about Miss. And she said she will not stop. The UWP was saying they will not stop if they do not take action against Mr. Philip. And that is exactly what I am
and
sure.
what action were they calling for?
To take action against him.
Okay, what action? They were specifically indicated what action they were calling for.
Yeah, they were, but that's exactly what RF did.
No,
that's exactly Mr. RF was saying.
They called
that the
for an
policemen need to be
investigation.
investigated.
They called for an investigation. That's not what Richard did.
That's what he did. He asked the
said
commissioner of
that
police
they
to
should
look
be
into
dealt
the matter of
with.
these
No,
two
he did not.
policemen.
Let me quote him for you.
Okay.
Let me quote Richard
All
for
right.
you. Okay, and let's not forget those statements can be retrieved.
Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Vungard, I am publicly asking you to intervene. You cannot have a police officer attached to special branch, access to sensitive information, always around the Prime Minister, always armed, and referring to the Prime Minister as he's a waste of space. Something has to be done with immediacy, like tonight. Tonight, something has to be done. Something has. Mr. Commissioner, we cannot permit that to continue. We cannot continue along those lines. Because guess what? Too late might be our cry.
Just so there from the housing minister, and before him, an exchange between Lena Spider-Matute and a caller to the program on Rev Up St. Lucia, Meet the Opposition, I've identified as Nenen. Over several years now, she's been calling the program, and the people have considered her to be my godmother. But it's a while she hasn't called. So it's been what? Maybe 5 years I've not heard from Nenen. So Nenen, if you're listening, you can call NewsSpin right now. Let's see if Nenen's on the line via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
It's not Nenen. It's not Nenen.
It's not Nenen. Okay, go ahead.
My call dropped. My call dropped earlier, and I was talking about the conditions at St. Jude. And I'm talking about the availability of blood. For some reason, we never have blood. sufficient blood. And I mean, I cannot blame, because I am a universal donor, but I cannot donate because I'm always anemic. So the things happen. But when you have a loved one at the hospital, and the patient is asking for blood, usually the hospital tells you they need blood, donate blood, and identify whom the blood is for. So, for instance, Timothy, if you were my father and you needed blood, I would come and say, I'm donating blood to Timothy Poleon, and that blood would be assigned. So there is this young lady at the hospital in a substandard condition. She has an immune deficient issue. Her immune system is compromised. Her family has stepped up and donated blood specifically for her. Tell me why, Timothy, this patient's blood was sent. I'm not sure if it's Victoria or OKEU, but that blood was not kept at St. Jude, and that blood was sent out. Why did the patient now have to chase down answers only to discover this travesty? And even worse, Timothy, when the patient finally inquired, she was told that she was told what happened, and that there's a single unit of blood had been secured for her. But the blood has a problem. And they're asking her at the hospital if she wants the blood. This is a patient whose immune system is already hanging by a thread, and you're asking them if they want to risk a transfusion with compromised blood? Is this a health care facility or a death sentence, Timothy? I mean, this is exactly why I've always maintained hospitals don't kill people. People kill people. Careless people kill people. Negligent people kill people. Incompetent people kill people. You could build the most advanced state-of-the-art hospital, but without competent and reliable staff, it's nothing more than a killing field. I'm calling on Moses Jean-Baptiste directly, Timothy, as the one responsible. You need to put an end to this blatant disregard for human life. He needs to fix this disaster immediately. And if he cannot do it, he needs to do the honorable thing and resign. He needs to stop playing with lives. Enough is enough. This young lady is at the hospital 8 days in substandard conditions with a compromised immune system, and you're asking her if she wants compromised blood, although her family has already donated blood. You send it to somebody else, and you're asking her one unit alone you can find for her. If she wants it, that's a travesty. Enough is enough, Timothy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, ma'am. This certainly warrants an investigation, and also it warrants some kind of explanation going forward. I cannot make any other pronouncement based on what you just said there. There certainly need to be further verification and clarification. Let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. Let's see there via WhatsApp. Somebody says there, okay, somebody's finding out if another individual passed away. No, that individual, if you're listening, you claimed that you provided information that a particular individual passed away, and I did check, and it certainly turned out to be false. We have a call in line via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
How you doing, Tim?
Rick Wayne, good afternoon to you. I'm okay, sir. How about you?
Holding on. Tim, I hope you will allow me the privilege of making a kind of a personal announcement. Nicole McDonald, who needs no introduction, has just successfully delivered her first child. And I just wanted to offer her congratulations via your program.
A baby boy or girl?
A baby girl.
A baby girl, okay. So Nicola.
Okay.
Nicola.
Hey?
Nicola. Christina Nicola.
Nicola?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah. Nicola. Go ahead.
I was pleased to hear a slight reference to Derek Walcott and
Arthur Lewis.
Sir Arthur this morning. And I thought I might want to make a small contribution on that. I want to read a few paragraphs.
And just hold on, bear with me, because I needed to play a particular clip of the Swedish ambassador. And he is basically showering praise on St. Lucia for having produced those two individuals. So just hold on the line and let's listen to this Swedish ambassador.
I think St. Lucia, of course, has been doing extremely well when it comes to Nobel Prizes. On a per capita basis, St. Lucia is the top achiever globally with 2 Nobel Laureates and a population of just 185,000. On a per capita basis, that's outstanding.
His Excellency Anders Beckchen, and speaking at the recent hosting of Nobel Prize History Expo by the National Archives and the Swedish Embassy. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. You hear me, Tim?
Loud and clear.
So Arthur Lewis is referencing the notion, the popular notion, that we are all descended from Africa and so on. And he's offering this in connection with that. He said Africa is the most diversified of all the continents in terms of strictly indigenous institutions, languages, food patterns, clothes, or any other index which you care to choose. There are hundreds of tribal and national groups, very different from each other, so there is no unique African model that West Indians could imitate. In the second place, Africans themselves are trying hard to get into the modern world and are in the process shedding a great number of the characteristics which they developed in isolation. The idea that we should choose as models what they are discarding seems a little quaint. Seems to them a little quaint. To use a popular jargon, the Africans are having as big a crisis of identity as we are. In stretching out to them, we shall find sympathy and understanding, but hardly remedies for the condition in which we both find ourselves. Since we are not racist, we are committed to the proposition that we are essentially the same as other men. Societies differ not in their underlying humanity, but in what they make of themselves and their environments. If I may read that line again. Societies differ not in their underlying humanity, but in what they make of themselves and their environment. What differs is the human achievement. So when we say that West Indians are to be different, we mean that they must make them something different. We mean that they must make something different. Our achievement must be unique. There is a distinct West Indian personality marked by its aggressive nature, which in turn derives from the insecure family life in which the great majority of our children are reared. Our aggressive personality has some advantages. It is the chief reason why West Indians figure disproportionately in the black leadership of the United States. But it also has its disadvantages. For example, as Sir John Mordecai's book on the breakdown of our federation shows, the chief reason was the inability of our three leaders in the same federal political party to maintain personal relations and compromise with each other. We also make a rather poor businessman compared with, say, the Nigerian Igbos, because unlike the Igbos, we are spendthrift and not very reliable in keeping our commitments punctually. For my part, I think our aggressive personality makes us inferior to our African brethren in warm, stable, and secure family situations, and who therefore produce a stable personality. If we must imitate the Africans, this is what I would suggest our countrymen imitate. Also, if we continue to be unbusinesslike and spendthrift, our society will have no long-term future, since it will not survive in this Darwinian world. You want to ask me
quite a lot?
Questions? Any further with that, Tim?
What would have caused you to provide us with that reading, that piece of information today? Maybe because it coincides with the observance of Nobel Laureates Day?
Well, number one, it coincides with Nobel Laureate, and I am also aware that what little we know of Sir Arthur has to do with, well, we don't know, has to do with what we heard about the economics, development economics, because we don't practice it and we don't read them anyway. So I wanted to show again that we've had giants like Sir Arthur and Derek Walcott walk among us, and there's no real evidence they've had any impact whatsoever. What there is an ever quickening reversal of us, what we stand for, our country, the stupid arguments we have, the pointless discussions, the threats by the very people you put in office to take care of, to bring us forward. They bring us backward by threatening us into silence or attempting to, that kind of stuff. I somehow, something, I hesitate, but Tim, I believe nature may well have to lend a hand by putting a stop in the only way nature puts a stop. He blocks everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He says, nature says this class is over. This story is over. And we get hit by a tsunami, real or metaphorical. We get hit by something, a natural disaster, nice two words, etc. That's the only way we're going to realize that while we may have differences, we cannot be different. We can't have differences in loving our country, in the progress of our country. And loving our country does not mean we have to unite. It means taking an interest, debating as families debate, argue as families argue, not hating each other, not being like monkeys talking about people are white and because their skin is lighter than yours, or use Americanisms meaningless in this country, like we want leaders that look like us. I sure as hell don't want to look like those people who are saying that. I'm happy with how I look. I don't want to look like them at all. So does that mean I or my progeny or yours, if they don't look like us, quote unquote, I don't know what that means really, the exact definition. We have no say in our country. We have no future in our country. That we must illegally go to other people's countries and get pushed around. We have to discuss those things as opposed to just a mépris. And this because nobody, red, yellow, or whatever, nobody goes forward on the mépris.
But I made a point earlier on, Rick, and I want to stress that. A country that has produced Nobel laureates like Sir Arthur Lewis and Sir Derek Walcott, what does it have to show right now, several decades later? Not only in terms of the environment, not only in terms of the rhetoric and the atmosphere,
I have the answer waiting for you.
The atmosphere, but in terms of our behavior, in terms of our decorum. If Derek Walcott and Sir Arthur Lewis were to return to St. Lucia right now, would they be satisfied with what we have evolved into?
That's a great question. Let me answer the first part. What we have to show for having given birth, I'm very careful, to Arthur Lewis and Derek Walcott, because I insist I'm not going to change that. We did not produce a Nobel laureate, and we did not produce Sir Arthur for what he's famous for. He's famous for having been born in our country, and we should be proud of that. But let's not fool ourselves.
Rick, let's be honest. There's some level of nurturing that took place in St. Lucia. I mean, they went to St. Mary's College. Both of them went to St. Mary's College.
It doesn't matter. I don't change my view on that.
And Rick, that stands... No, hold on, Rick. That is the foundation. The foundation would have been
I'm
St.
agreeing
Lucia.
with that.
Yeah?
Whatever you want, I'm agreeing with that. Even if they went to high school here, whatever. I'm agreeing with all of that. I am saying, had they stayed here, I don't think they would Nobel laureates.
Well,
okay?
Because by
So
dint,
if they want to come back, and by the way,
by dint of their ambition, Rick, they did not stay here. They wanted
Tim,
to.
you and I disagree on that.
No,
Let's move on.
They wanted to improve themselves, and they went overseas. So that still does not mean that the foundation was not set in St. Lucia.
They want, well, that's the point. They went out there to become what, and were permitted to become what they are. What we have here is people standing in your way. If your parents don't belong to a particular party that's in office, you don't get a scholarship. You don't even get a chance to talk. You might not even be able to go to school because you can't buy books. That's what we have. We have harsh evidence of successive administrations victimizing our people. That's what we have, Tim. So if those gentlemen were to come back now, what they would see is contempt. But Derek Walcott was walking among us just a couple of years ago, so he knows. And I was pretty tight with Derek to know how he felt about certain things. It's not the time for it. I'll tell you one thing. I remember him saying to me when I asked him about why you suppose there was such unfair criticism of you, because I remember one particular guy on a show actually asked me, what has Derek, and that's about 4 or 5 years ago, what has Derek Walker done for St. Lucia? I remember another guy telling me, that man aloof. I remember being in a group of what people were talking about Derek in such a way that they would have to be in his bedroom to even know what they were talking about. You see what I'm saying? But Derek's books are no big deal with them. We hear about Derek Walcott only and Sir Arthur, not as a norm. How many times a week do we quote a Derek Walcott line on even NewsSpin or anywhere else? How many times do we discuss the Federation, Whitefield, what Sir Arthur said in those days, how much of what Sir Arthur said has come true or not come true? We don't talk about those guys except Nobel Laureate Week. Yes, that's one. These guys should be common knowledge within household names, and we should all be able to call almost normally. You remember when Derek Walker says so-and-so? Instead, we quote the Gleaner, we quote people we don't know anything about their history. We quote all kinds of people when Derek Walker is supremely quotable. And Sir Arthur is supremely quotable. And by their lives, they're inspirational. And they should make everybody aspirational. Do our leaders even know anything worthwhile about Derek? When was the last time you heard somebody talking about Derek Walcott in the House? If you did, I can tell you Derek Walcott was misquoted. I can tell you that. When was the last time you heard any leaders, any teachers calling your show and talking about Derek? How many calls have you had since Derek Walcott, since Nobel Week this year? How many calls have you had touching on Derek Walcott?
We've had none so far. None so far.
I've been monitoring the most monitored show. Okay? So somebody has to talk straight about these things, Tim. Judge Odlum is another one, Whatever we may want to say about Judge Odlum's politics, and because it's politics, we are hateful. So forget that. But Judge Odlum, I've said it before to you on this show, was an icon. And there's a lot of stuff that George said and wrote that are worth talking about. We don't have a single show in this country where I was listening to following a writers forum they had this week at Sir Arthur. And Tim, I really was amazed that even among the writers there, they didn't sound like writers. They sounded like people who were intelligent but putting a question, but to most of the questions they had answers better than the visitor could have had because they live in St. Lucia. Like, for example, one particular guy actually stood up, one of our elite brigades, stood up and he asked the visitor the question, why do you suppose, and I'm paraphrasing, Derek Walker is not revered in our country? Can you believe that? But we all know why he's not revered, Tim.
Yeah.
We all know, don't we?
We ought to know, yes.
And don't you think that in itself is worthy of a television discussion to bring a couple of writers on there with a good moderator? And based on that, why is Derek Walcott In fact, even when he was alive and walking among us, why was he not revered? I'm not talking about holding a little thing and inviting him once in a while. So why was he not revered? Thank you very much for all the time.
Thank you so much for calling, Rick. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Attention contractors and builders. MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt have limited time offers just for you. Lumber 10% off all sizes. Cement slings just $23 per bag, saving you 45 cents per bag or $18 per sling. KP 6-panel doors, only $169 each. Save $23.44 per door. Limited time only. Don't miss out. Head to MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt today. Still to come on the broadcast, more of our discussions, more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. I'd like to inform you that the Sir Arthur Lewis Memorial Lecture is scheduled for this evening at the Finance Administrative Center, and it focuses on economic prosperity in the new age. What are the prescriptions for growth and development for SIDS? Some global lessons, and it will be delivered by Dr. Clarence Henry of the OECS Commission.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus takes charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Need more days of savings? MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Super Saturday of Savings has just been extended to Sunday. Take advantage of amazing deals. This weekend, MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt are offering you amazing discounts on selected items. MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Super Saturday of Savings has been extended to Sunday. Don't miss out on the incredible discounts and deals. See in-store, Facebook, or www.mnchomedepot.com for more details. Terms and conditions may apply. Better value for better.
It is well known by all solution professional tradesmen and even homeowners that European-made tools are the best. Well, guess what? Europa Hardware is having a massive promotion on the Metabo brand of power tools. From impact drills to angle grinders, jigsaws to rotary hammers, sanders and hot air guns. All at unbeatable, jaw-dropping prices. Don't let your tools let you down. Come to Europa and stay standing with a proud in-the-hand tool from Metabo. Call us at 452-0763 or visit us in Massad Grosile. Europa, we service what we sell.
Have you been referred by your doctor for an MRI? No need to travel overseas and endure long waits, travel expenses, and uncertainty. Right here in St. Lucia, La Clinique du Corps offers world-class full-body MRI scans with no limitations, using the most advanced MRI machine in the Caribbean to diagnose all types of illnesses with precision, accuracy, and crystal-clear head-to-toe images. Get your results within 24 hours, or you can choose our Express Results option to get it sooner. Your health is your wealth. Top quality 3D and 4D ultrasound services are also available. Don't settle for less when the best is right here at La Clinique du Corps in Cocoville, Rodney Bay, and Castries. For better healthcare, call us at 451-6559 to schedule your appointment today.
Get ready for the glitz and glamour of the Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant. Join the Fabulous Five: Danielle Allen, Miss Castries South; Cheyenne Smith, Miss Mikud South; Tyler St. Rose, Miss Babodo; Ari Asa Liwa, Miss Castries Central; and Mikhail Williams, Miss Mikud North. Who will be crowned Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant 2025 on Saturday, February 1st from 6 p.m. at the Medgar Evers College Founders Auditorium, 1650 Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn. Tickets $80 US, VIP $120 US, or call 631-275-0508. This event is sponsored by Power 97.9 FM, Four Roots Entertainment, and the Consulate General of St. Lucia, New York. A magical evening awaits. Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant 2025.
This one will be the biggest ever! It's Legacy 2025, the Independence Edition, featuring two of the Caribbean's greatest icons, the soca queen herself, Alison Hines. Alison Hines! And the region's groovy master, the man with the most groovy hits ever, Rupee! The St. Lucian Giants, King Sly. Calypso Legends, Papa Vader, King Ashanti, Robbie, the grand return of Alpha. Legacy 2025 is gonna be amazing. Saturday, February 8th, 8 p.m. at the Pavilion. Limited early bird $100, regular $120. Tickets available at Steve's Barbershop and The Wave. Sponsored by KFC, Republic Bank, Massey Stores, IBS Solutions, Climax, Peter Bear, First Citizen, Blow, and the Independence Committee.
Look at people!
WhatsApp message reads, St. Lucians do a lot of complaining with no action. Why would you complain about brown sugar being dirty? It's called brown sugar, for crying out loud. And it's made out of sugar cane or molasses, which is a black and thick product. Here in Canada, you can get different variations of brown sugar. Some brown, some gold, and some are lighter. That sugar complaint has been killing me since I was a little boy growing up. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says there, I saw a news clip stating that the Bank of St. Lucia had closed Richard Frederick's bank account. In my experience, banks do not close anyone's bank account unless they have proof of illegal transactions or activities. Yet no one is even mentioning this very important event. Why is that? Well, it has been commented on before. I think this would have occurred even I think before the last general election. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says via WhatsApp, Mr. Francis has made a dangerous statement by saying that most of the murders in St. Lucia are committed by licensed firearms. He didn't say most, Let me clarify, he said a lot. Can he tell us where he got such information from? Did he conduct a study from which he obtained such information? In the absence of empirical study, he is only speculating, which is extremely dangerous. Furthermore, if he had such information as the National Security Minister or the Deputy Commissioner of Police, what did he do with such information? Judging from what I'm seeing, he did very little when he was in authority to make a significant change in the crime rate of this country. Let's see if we have another one. Somebody says, can you ask someone to explain what advice was going on at the Registry of Companies? Files cannot be located and the service has deteriorated. And there's another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, Mr. Harris is so right about Slasper dumping garbage from Port Castries to Port Vieux. This is the garbage that was occupying space at Port Castries while the government was boasting that the economy was doing so well. There was no space at the airport. Tim, with reference to the delay in the farmers receiving the oil for farming, I listened to the Minister of Agriculture at the SLP Town Hall meeting. He stated that the oil was coming from the U.S. To justify the delay at that same meeting, the Prime Minister implied that the cause of the delay was because of what's happening in the Panama Canal. Is our Prime Minister losing it? Why would goods coming from the U.S. destination to St. Lucia go through the Panama Canal? Maybe that's why we have not received the oil as yet. LOL. In the chat room, Amanda, what is happening there?
A few comments from earlier in the chat room. Someone says the blood is compromised, but she was asked if she wants the blood. What in the... Another comment reads, Team, where is our foreign minister? He was resigned from his post. Is he in that post? The reason for this question is that we are not hearing anything from him. Another comment reads, I think Lucians are paying a heavy price for this honesty and hypocrisy right now. Someone says, honest question here because I don't know. When was the last time a new stricter legislation was introduced to help fight crime? Someone says, that is a request, not dictate or a demand. Mr. Commissioner, I am asking you. The comment reads, we have a crab in the barrel society and for anyone to be successful, they must flee. Another comment reads, Mia Motley said she also got her political foundation and passion for political life, spending her summers as a young lady with the family of Winston Snack. Another comment reads, as an economist, PJP should be well versed with Sir Arthur's work. Someone replied to this saying, Pierre is not an economist, he has a degree in accounting or bookkeeping. Someone says Derek Walker did not have the charisma nor the pull to have people like me warming up to him. He was aloof, looked unfriendly, and I personally do not give two hoots about him. Another comment reads, St. Lucians have a level of disdain for people who become successful, littered with jealousy and envy. And that's it for me for now, Tim.
Thank you so much. I see we have a call on the landline. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Mr. Guy Joseph.
Yes, Tim. I couldn't help but note one of the comments that was just read about the oil for the farmers. Tim, I met with the farmers, and I heard the reports about the meeting in January. Was it a televised meeting in January?
It was on social media. I don't think it was on television, but it was on social media.
Because Tim, I heard the explanation about the oil not being available because of Donald Trump and what's going on with the Panama Canal and all kinds of stories. I mean, I've never heard anything more sinister than these kinds of explanations. As much as the Prime Minister makes so many blunders in the information that he gives, it was kind of hard-pressed for me I was hard-pressed to believe that the Prime Minister actually gave that as an excuse. But given what we've seen in the past, you almost cannot put anything past the Prime Minister when it comes to getting away with things and giving explanations. Remember what was said about the houses in January? that these houses were not for people, but for the poorest of the poor, which meant that the poorest of the poor, they are not human beings or they are not people. So I would not put that past him. I've been trying to get the whole week to get through other than the first time when I got through, but what concerned me, Tim, was the moves by the Commissioner of Police and the signals that it sends to the rest of us in St. Lucia. The moving of the security detail of the Prime Minister, the non-communication. I mean, can you imagine you have a security detail and one morning when you're expecting that person to show up, you just see a new face shows up to you and you have no idea what has happened to your other security detail? Is that how we operate as a country? And given what has transpired, I think the move to send Mr. Jan Gustav on leave and to move the security detail of the Prime Minister, no matter what explanation the Commissioner will give, it is no coincidence that that happened a few days after Richard Frederick's program. And if you recall, on one of the occasions, Richard said he had instructed the SSU to arrest the people who are causing the problems by the CDC. You recall that statement, Tim?
Yeah, I heard the statement, yes.
Yes. Now, if he could give the SSU instructions on what to do, this is the same minister who said he has files given to him by the police on citizens of the country. Now remember, the Minister for Security is the Prime Minister for National Security. The person who is, there are two ministers in the Prime Minister's office. You have Mr. Girard and you have Richard Frederick. Is there a sharing of the portfolio of the Prime Minister? So is Richard Frederick the de facto minister responsible for the police? Now, Tim, let me just give St. Lucia a little background to what I am saying there. When United Workers' Party won the elections in 2006 with Sir John as leader, Richard Frederick was pushing to be either Attorney General or the minister responsible for the police. And Sir John was spoken to by foreign dignitaries that I choose not to mention. At this point in time, foreign countries that had Richard under surveillance for a period of time, and Sir John was encouraged, because they could not instruct Sir John, he was encouraged not to have this minister anywhere close to the police, given what was known about him or what was alleged, because a lot of things were alleged at the time concerning him, more so by the Labour Party than anybody else. Today, Richard Frederick finds himself in the Prime Minister's office, with the Prime Minister having the portfolio of national security, and we've seen many run-ins pertaining to the police and what the pronouncements of the minister is. I mean, I heard and he can use nice words, like he would have loved to see the demise of somebody. What he was actually advocating is that the tourists should have killed the person. Because how do you bring the demise of somebody? What? So sometimes people choose nice words to mask what they are really saying. And if it does not concern St. Lucia, Alan Chasney can engage his own personal private security if he chooses to. He has the wherewithal to be able to do that. But to tell me a leader of the opposition is being treated in that manner, it is him today. Who is it going to be tomorrow? When all former heads of state, prime ministers, leaders of the opposition have had a direct say in who is their security, who is their personal. Can you imagine having to be traveling and you can't even have a phone conversation because you're not comfortable with who your security is? And Tim, I will say something, and I don't think it will put you in trouble. I think that the Prime Minister is in more danger in the presence of Richard Frederick, and I don't necessarily mean physical danger, than he is in the presence of the security detail of Alan Shaftney. And more so, how often is the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition together? So to say that he is always in the presence of the Prime Minister is an outright lie, because you go to Parliament. So an Italian said something that makes him a danger to the Prime Minister. Isn't Alan Shaftney in danger in the presence of Richard Frederick every time they are in Parliament? Does Richard Frederick have his firearm with him when he goes to the Parliament? And is it a situation? Because if what you say about somebody puts the person's life in danger, then I want to believe that Alan Shaftney is in grave danger when he is in the presence of Richard Frederick because of all the pronouncements that he makes. And here you have a situation. Is that why the Commissioner of Police was given a 6 months acting appointment? And in order for his appointment to be renewed or to be confirmed, that he has to carry out the mandate given? And Richard Frederick said Philip J. Pierre does not have to defend himself or say anything. He is the mouthpiece for Philip J. Pierre. And I said that for years, that when Richard Frederick speaks, he really speaks for the office of the Prime Minister. And people maybe didn't take it serious. But I heard Richard make the pronouncement himself. So, Tim, I want all St. Lucians to think. All of us have a reputation. All of us have tracks that follow us. Everybody knows about Richard Frederick. And I think the Labour Party owes St. Lucia an explanation as to why Richard is not fit to be accepted as a member of the St. Lucia Labour Party, yet still he is fit enough to be in the cabinet of St. Lucia, and more so to be the spokesperson for the Prime Minister and to be the one operating from the Prime Minister's office. I think all of us needs clarity on this. All the accusations that was leveled at Richard Frederick, the most frightful thing that ever happened in the politics of St. Lucia, all the U.S. marshals that used to be at the airport waiting to pick up Richard and to do all of it. What has happened to all of this? All the reasons why his visa was revoked. Have we been given one reason why the Labour Party was able to get him back his visa? Is it because they were the ones who had it taken away from him, and they are the ones who was able to go back and say, well, what we said was not really so, so that is why he was reinstated? All of these are questions. And another election is looming on the horizon. Will Labour try to fool the people of Central and Castries North to make them believe that Richard and Steve will be independent candidates? So, Tim, and the caller who have the back and forth with Spider, there's no way you can make a comparison between what was said Because think of it. The deputy commissioner, a complaint was lodged by whom? By police officers themselves against a colleague of theirs. And he was not sent on leave to investigate, but something is said out there in the public domain, and you're going to send Yan on leave to investigate him? What kind of double standard by which this police force is operating? And yet still we are supposed to put our trust and our confidence in these people? Given what is in the impacts report about Richard Frederick and the police that was involved in a lot of the situations that happened on the impact, we should not have reason to be concerned. Are we going to have another situation in St. Lucia like we had, why we have to have the impacts investigations? These are real questions. And those of us in this country want to bury our heads in the sand and pretend that it is not so. If Richard was dangerous back then, he is even more dangerous today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. And finally, there was an incident which occurred in Soufrière yesterday. We have a report from the PRO of the St. Lucia Fire Service.
On Wednesday, January 22nd, the St. Lucia Fire Service responded to an emergency call involving two individuals at Palmist, Soufrière. On arrival at the scene, an adult male was found in a supine position in distress. On assessment, it was observed that he sustained a penetrating wound to his left upper extremity and right lower extremity. He was treated, then transported to a medical facility for advanced medical care. The second individual arrived at a medical facility with a penetrating wound to his right upper extremity. Both individuals were later transported to a medical facility for further medical care.
Sharice John, who is the PRO of the St. Lucia Fire Service. And finally, our NewsSpin News of the day. The NewsSpin News of the day reads, Danish politician tells Trump Greenland not for sale, F off. Danish politician tells Trump Greenland not for sale, F off. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. My name is Timothy Poleon. Please join us tomorrow afternoon, same time, 12:30, for another edition of NewsSpin. Goodbye.